Have you seen what's happening in your sanctuary lately? Join us right now for another episode of Your Sanctuary, a program that highlights what makes our National Marine Sanctuaries so special and the people that keep them that way.
The other day, Michelle asked me to watch Otter 472. She's around 4, and they think she's about ready to wean her first pup. I noticed right away that something wasn't right. 472's ribs were poking out. It looked like she was starving. She kept diving for food, and every time she'd surface, her pup would almost attack her with hunger. I watched it for over an hour, and I sure didn't see her eat much. Meanwhile, about 20 feet away, I saw the territorial male, kind of hovering. Eventually, I figured it out. He was trying to mate. 472's got a pup. She's still nursing, she's starving, and now this. This can lead to what biologists call end lactation syndrome. It kills lots of female otters around here. In other otter ranges, where there's more food and the animals are less stressed, it's rare. And it's just not okay to lose reproductive age females like this.
We have all experienced the power of a good film. They have the ability to move us. Environmental films were just beginning to hit television when Jacques Cousteau captured the world with National Geographic's undersea voyages. That early virtual experience changed many lives, including my own. Today, ocean and wildlife programs abound. Many fascinate us, some surprise us, while others inspire us to take action. Today I'm speaking with Mark Shelley, Executive Director of Sea Studios Foundation and a renowned filmmaker. Mark is perhaps best known for his production of Strange Days on Planet Earth. The program is the recipient of 14 international awards and was hosted by Academy Award nominee Edward Norton. Strange Days on Planet Earth is praised for the quality of its environmental content, its style, its storytelling, and pioneering techniques in underwater and deep-sea filmmaking. Mark, welcome to Your Sanctuary. Thanks for coming on.
Good to be here, Paul. Thanks.
Yeah, so what inspired you to be a photographer and a filmmaker?
Well, I don't think I ever set out to be a filmmaker or photographer, but I had this deep interest in the water and was introduced into the ocean when I was in college. And it may have been my first dive of going under and seeing the kelp forest. I was lucky enough to be diving here. And I thought, geez, there's got to be a way that I can connect what I'm doing right now with a life, because I don't want to do anything different.
So how do you set up these shots? And you must spend a number of hours just waiting for the right moment.
Sure, yeah, and it's changed over the time that I've been a filmmaker. Initially, we would go out and we had big budgets, we had a lot of time to tell the story, and you would let it happen. More and more, we're really carefully storyboarding how we tell the story. And storytelling, I think, is a lot more important now than it was when I started. And so crafting the story, making sure that the way the story is going to unfold for the audience is really important. So how to do that, you really carefully tell the story ahead of time, then you go out and film it, it changes, and then you go and you edit it, and it changes again. So there are kind of 3 different phases of the whole filmmaking process.
Tell us about Otter 501, this amazing story of an orphaned young sea otter pup.
Right. We had the opportunity to tell a story about sea otters. Surprisingly, you know, with such a charismatic animal that sea otters are, there's never been a real big major film made about sea otters. So it was a great opportunity that we had. And the story kind of unfolded because we were able to work so closely with the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and we happened to be there when a 3-day-old pup comes in and is rescued. And that all of a sudden became, that's got to be the story, following this pup through and to its eventual release 7 or 8 months later back into the wild was an amazing story arc. You know, you don't get a great story arc like that very often, and here was this terrific story that presented itself to us.
It's a great film, and if our viewers want to see the film, how do you see Otter 501 now?
Otter 501 is going to be released theatrically, and it'll be in Monterey, Santa Cruz, and this whole area in theaters beginning about May.
Great.
Sometime in May. Hopefully everyone will hear about it and come. And then after that, there'll be lots of opportunities to see it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Mark, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you. Good for you to be doing the program. Thanks,
Yeah.
Paul.
Hey, I think we have a special clip of Otter 501 we want to share.
Yeah, I'd love to show the piece where actually Tula bonds for the first time with 501.
Great. Let's check it out.
501 will be her 12th pup. 501 was so shy. She didn't even want to come out of the pet carrier. Then all she did was hide. Obviously, it was going to take some time for these two to get comfortable with each other. And for Tula to start acting like a mom, her hormones need to trigger. Tula kept poking around 501, but then she'd just swim off. But each time I checked back, it seemed like they were warming up a bit. So, I just kept checking. Ten hours passed. Then a couple days. Finally, after 3 days, I turn on my Otter Cam feed and I see this. With a little luck, it'll take about 6 months for 501 to learn all the things she needs to know before she can be released. I might even be around for that.
The first underwater film premiered in Berlin in 1942. The first full-color underwater documentary, The Sixth Continent, was released in 1954.
Reporter Deirdre Whalen is in the field with this week's Hospitality Spotlight. Let's go out to Deirdre now and see what's going on.
Thanks, Paul. We're so excited because today we're here at Portola Hotel and Spa with Janine Chikarat, the general manager. And as you may know, Portola Hotel and Spa has a long history and commitment to being environmentally friendly, while at the same time providing an absolutely stunning accommodations for their guests. Janine, your hotel is doing much to set itself apart with your environmental standards. Can you tell me a little bit about what you're doing?
Well, actually, it kind of stemmed from going through a whole culture change and getting our Silver LEED certification, which is given to us by the United States Green Building Association. And when you go through a process like that, you make numerous changes that are environmentally friendly, and every aspect of what you do moving forward are decisions based on what's best for the balance of running your business and also for our environment.
Now, your hotel enjoys a unique proximity to Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. How do you connect your guests to the sanctuary?
First of all, we actually show an in-room video that is produced by the Marine Sanctuary to let them understand that the wonders that is underneath that beautiful water that's right outside our back door. And then we direct people. I mean, we help them book kayaking tours, paddleboarding excursions, and whale watching. And if you've never been on a whale watching tour, you need to, because it's more than just seeing whales. It's unbelievable the amount of sea life that exists in our bay.
Janine, I know your hotel's been working really hard on the LEED certification. Tell us about that.
LEED actually is, again, by the United States Green Building Association, and they have a criteria that you can choose a bunch of different avenues to make your building more environmentally friendly. And we chose in our room renovation, for example, to incorporate things such as low VOC paints or no VOC paints, forest stewardship baseboards for wood, an environmentally designed mattress from a local mattress company, carpet that's 100% recyclable. So there's all kinds of things that out there that exist. And the reality of it is it actually doesn't cost any more money than it does to do a normal renovation on a hotel.
Well, now I'm curious, how do your employees feel about this new culture of environmentalism?
You know, our employees have totally embraced this, and it's been a lot of fun. In fact, I had an employee come up to me one time and say to me that they were so proud of what we were doing at the hotel, that he didn't think that old people like me were into the environment, which I thought, wow, I'm being called old for the first time in my life. But, you know, some of the things we do is we partner with Save Our Shores, and we're out there at Del Monte Beach overlooking the Marine Sanctuary and doing beach cleanups a couple times a year. And there are other initiatives that we take as a group and we discuss and try to be involved with the environment and the sanctuary is the best way we can.
Now, in addition to your LEED certification, you've won some other awards, haven't you?
We've actually always participated in the RAP Award. We've won it 18 consecutive years, and that's the State of California Waste Reduction Award. But even more recently, we just won the Governor's GILA Award, which is the Economic and Environmental Leadership Award. And you know, that's an award hotels just don't get. We were there in the company of some major corporations and some small, very small green businesses, and it was quite an honor. In fact, the governor himself showed up.
Tell me, how enjoyable was it to have the Blue Ocean Film Festival here?
You know, the Blue Ocean Film Festival is absolutely amazing, and we are so fortunate to have it in our community, and we're the host hotel. But what comes together are people from all over the world in a variety of different marine settings, and you're able to experience these places that, you know, sometimes you may never go to in your life. And then for them to be able to come here and experience what we have here, we've got a world treasure out there, and it's just an incredible event, and I hope it continues to grow every year because it's really special.
Did you know we still know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the bottom of the ocean?
As superintendent of America's largest national marine sanctuary, I understand the challenges of getting ocean protection messages out to the public. Not everyone has the same perspective on ocean issues, and many people who live inland don't realize connection with the ocean. Film can be a very powerful and effective way to experience the ocean, and with me today is internationally acclaimed photographer and filmmaker Bob Talbot. He's going to discuss with us how he uses the power of film to engage and inspire viewers. Welcome, Bob.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Good to see you.
It's great to have you here.
Well, thank you.
So what got you into ocean filmmaking and photography?
Well, you know, actually it started with the ocean. I started snorkeling when I was 8. I got my first camera when I was 14. I started scuba diving when I was 13. And at first, photography for me was just something to do while I was in the ocean. And soon it became a way for me to share the ocean with others. And that for me has really been the focus of my work, is bringing people there.
And so how do you go about developing film to inspire action? That's just more than just taking fun photographs. You have to really have a thought in mind that you want to convey.
Well, that's the tricky part. You know, I started out in stills where I was trying to capture a moment that told a story and get people engaged, but getting people engaged isn't enough. You know, pretty pictures are wonderful. We fall in love with the ocean, but then what do you do? And today, when we have so much information at our fingertips and so little attention, or such a short attention span, I should say, it's very important, I feel, to engage people with story. Tell them a good story, give them context, and most importantly, give them meaningful action. something that really is going to make a difference rather than just make them feel good in the moment.
Your films are not only beautiful, but they tend to really evoke a lot of emotion. How do you do that without sort of crossing any lines? It must be hard.
Well, I think the key is to not hit people with too much negative story to where they feel that the problem is so daunting they can't do anything about it. I think today, really the key word is empowerment. And Monterey Bay is a perfect example of an easy story to tell to empower people. It's a success story. And Monterey Bay is one of the few places that's much better off now than it was 100 years ago. And when you give people that sense of ownership, when you give them a character they can connect to, they feel empowered. We give them, and we want to give them real and meaningful actions to take to make a difference.
That's great. Now, you're really involved in the sanctuary program. How are you connected with the National Marine Sanctuary Program?
Well, currently I'm chair of the board of the National Marine Sanctuary Foundation. I'm a real sanctuary supporter. I feel that sanctuaries are our best matrix in this country for meaningful ocean protection. And I used to think that the notion of act locally, think globally and act locally was really the wrong way of looking at things. I really used to think that it was global action that was necessary, but over the years I've spent in marine conservation, I've come to learn that really it is about taking ownership of your own little piece of the ocean. And enough people do that, enough people feel that sense of ownership for sanctuaries, then those dots will connect and we can grow a healthy ocean again.
Well, you were so excited that you're producing a film for our Sanctuary Exploration Center that's going to open this summer in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Can you give us just a hint about what that film is going to be about, and then some of the technologies I know that you've been using to really make that a powerful film?
Well, we're using a freediver as our storyteller, Kurt Kroc from the Cove, and we're using a free dive as sort of a metaphor of how we look at the ocean and how we look at a place. The small slice of time we tend to look at things, the perspective we take as human beings being such a small slice of time, like a free dive. But it's more than anything, it's going to be a very experiential film, and we're using a lot of very cool technology. We're using phantom cameras to shoot up to 1,000 frames a second. We have sea lions, flipping molas at 1,000 frames per second, which you see things in those shots that you don't see with the naked eye. We're using a Cineflex, which is a super stabilized camera, so we can be out on a rocking boat and the camera stays rock steady and we can reach out and get wildlife at a very great distance. It feels like you're right there.
Yeah.
So we're doing a lot of really neat stuff. We're
Great.
shooting 35mm film for some of our underwater sequences, which is not something you see a lot of anymore, but it gives us this great dynamic range, helps us really see into the shadows of the kelp forest and feel like we're there. So it's not going to feel like a video presentation. It's going to feel more like a mini IMAX film.
Oh, wow. You brought some clips to share with us. Let's take a look.
New technology, sensors, and tools are expanding our ability to explore the ocean. Ocean scientists are relying more and more on satellites, buoys, and remotely operated vehicles.
Our next segment is Sanctuary Heroes, which is a shout out to our ocean champions.
Earth is blessed with an ocean that gives us life. All life requires water, and 97% of it is out there in the ocean.
One World, One Ocean is the culmination of everything that I've done through my life, starting with the ocean and surfing films, all the way through the educational films.
The biggest problem of all is most people don't know that the ocean is in trouble. We now know that we're right on the edge of losing a great many things. About half the coral reefs around the world are already gone, but half of them are still in pretty good shape. 90% of many of the big fish are gone.
The oceans are lifeblood. Our survival truly depends directly upon the oceans. At best, we know something on the order of 2 to 10% of all the species we share this planet with. And we're losing species at very alarming rates.
Tipping points are out there all around us. Will there or will there not be whales going forward in the next century? Will there or will there not be coral reefs?
There's so many things about the ocean that people, when I tell it to them, they're just dumbfounded. They had no idea.
So we have 3 goals for the campaign. The first goal is to increase marine protected areas. Right now we're at less than 2%, and we want to get to 10% by 2020. When you do give the ocean protection, it can revitalize that area and make it so that you have more abundant fish and a better ecosystem. And so that's a big goal of ours, is to get people to actually sign petitions, donate for marine protected areas. The second goal is to get people to change the way they eat seafood. And I think we can do a lot about educating the public as to what is sustainable and what's not sustainable. And the third goal is reducing plastic pollution in our ocean.
In order to do all of this is to make 3 IMAX films, a feature film, and 8 television specials, as well as digital cinema that will go out everywhere. The greatest success is going to be to get up to 1 billion people to appreciate the ocean in a new way, to understand it better, and to want to protect it.
This is the moment. It's not too late. This is this magical point in time when we can act on what we know right now to make a difference, to secure an enduring place for us as a part of the natural systems that keep us alive.
Too many things are riding on the success of the health of the ocean. We have to keep it healthy.
We started our Sanctuary on the Street segment to find out what you think about sanctuary subjects. Let's go to Steve Elsey right now and see what he's discovered.
Thank you very much, Paul. We are standing in front of the Monterey Bay National Marine Sanctuary. We're going to find out what people think about film and the ocean. Renee, do you enjoy movies about the ocean?
Yes, I do.
And why is that?
Because there's a lot of nature and wildlife.
Yes, I enjoy films about the ocean.
And why is that?
Because I think the ocean gives life. It teaches us about nature, a lot of stuff that we don't learn in normal society.
Because I think we need to preserve the oceans and the animals in it, and there's not much done about it to understand really what's way down below.
Do you believe that films about the ocean can change the way that people act?
Yeah, I do. Maybe they wouldn't throw so much garbage and all that crap in there.
It can be helpful, yes. Awareness to litter, environment, those types of things.
Yeah, because the ocean is much more vast than the land, and the stuff that we're doing to the ocean is it's detrimental to like our whole entire environment because it controls our environment.
And at the same time, we need to feed our imaginations. We need motivation. We need inspiration, you know?
And it gives people knowledge, and knowledge is power.
Paul, we have moved over to the front of the OCO Theater in downtown Monterey. Do you like movies about the ocean?
I like movies about just about anything.
I'm not a big Jacques Cousteau fan, but I totally appreciate everything he's done, yes, but I love the ocean, period.
Yes, I do. I was in the Navy before, and I spent a lot of time on the ocean. It's very beautiful. You see a lot of different things going on out there.
It's a totally different world. Like you watch Planet Earth, and it's completely a world that you never see, you know. And movies can give you that knowledge of that in go into like deep depths of the ocean that we could never go to ourselves and see what life's like that.
Because it's a very unexplored place, a very gorgeous place, and sometimes very scary looking place.
Do you feel that film is powerful enough to change the way people behave about the ocean?
I do. I think it at least has that potential. And so, yeah, with maybe some other influences as well, I think it can.
People are influenced by the media, and whatever people see on TV, that's what they believe. Whatever they see on film, that's what they follow.
I kind of just prefer my film as art, so I just like to take it at that. But I think it can work for the right people.
Especially documentaries where you can perceive what is on there in your own way, and it tells a story.
Well-documented films that really broadens one's view of both the world and, of course, the oceans.
The movie Soul Surfer, it makes you rethink, actually makes you want to surf, which is weird, huh?
Yeah. It's a good movie because, I like the scenery of the ocean. I mean, obviously I live in Monterey, so I like the ocean.
But makes you want to be more cautious about the ocean, if that's what you're saying.
We can destroy it or preserve it according to what the media puts out.
I mean, you can change the world with films.
Would you watch a film about a talking starfish?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I would.
Probably not, no.
Depends on what the starfish was talking about.
Anytime with my grandchildren, anytime. But for adults, no. They could use it to be an information level, to understand more about fish and ocean life, but it doesn't have to be a talking starfish.